It takes an immense amount of internal work for a modern man to freely drop his stoic exterior and share his deepest fears, his past failures, or his emotional wounds with a woman. Clearly, weaponized vulnerability primarily occurs when, during a heated argument or a future disagreement, you suddenly take those exact private confessions he had made and fling them back so hard at him to win a point or inflict needless pain on him, such as no wonder your last girlfriend left you, or this is why you fail at almost everything all the time. Honestly, this is the ultimate relational betrayal that hurts a man to the core. It validates his deepest dark fear that showing his soft side is a very dangerous mistake that will eventually be used against him to destroy him one day. When his vulnerability is constantly weaponized against him, his emotional armor gradually goes back up permanently, often ruining his capacity to trust anyone else for a very long time to come. You're welcome to my channel, Relationship Psychology. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay with me to the end of this particular video to learn more. Share your thoughts. Remember to do so. Rejection is an uncomfortable bruise to a man's ego, even though that brings a lot of weight to bear on him. It is an expected part of the dating landscape. Most men, however, have built up a degree of psychological scar tissue to handle a straightforward no response. And so, for a man, rejection is considered very clear and clean. It actually provides a definitive endpoint, allowing the man to confidently dust himself off and move on. What truly devastates a man lies far deeper than a simple lack of interest. The most profound psychological wounds are usually inflicted not when he, the man, is turned away, but when his core identity, his competence, his loyalty, his emotional investment, and his honor as a man are entirely dismantled by a woman he has decided not to be defensive against. Now, let's take a very close look at the specific experiences that cut a man infinitely deeper than rejection, along with the underlying psychology of why they are so destructive to him. Rejection practically happens at the very entrance into the relationship, sadly and unfortunately, leading a man on allows him inside the fortress before burning it completely down. This betrays his trust. Basically, this occurs when a woman gives a man just enough attention, affection, or the hope to keep him invested, while at the same time internally knowing very well she has no intention of ever committing to him. In fact, she uses his attention, his time, or his financial generosity as a major source of validation and convenience. For a man, eventually figuring out that he was led on really destroys his trust in his own intuition. Sadly, he looks back in assessment at weeks or months of serious effort and realizes that his genuine emotional investment was merely a transactional commodity to someone else. The unfortunate realization that he was unfairly used deeply hurts far worse than if she had simply said, I am not really interested on the very first day they had met. A man will proudly take risks, build projects, and put his energy on the line for a woman, provided his effort is honestly respected by her. Mocking that effort he puts in all he does for you, the woman, especially in front of his peers or your own peers, is extremely catastrophic to his self worth and personality. This basically includes making casual, biting jokes about his income, his career trajectory, his physical appearance, or his performance as a partner in front of friends, family members, and even strangers. This actually turns his inner world upside down. In fact, as established in male psychology, respect is a man's primary currency. Publicly undermining his competence extensively attacks his social standing and his dignity simultaneously. It tells him that the woman he is actively trying to please and protect rather sees him as a joke. This emphatic feeling he gets from how you treat him instantly triggers a severe emotional shutdown. It takes an immense amount of internal work for a modern man to freely drop his stoic exterior and share his deepest fears, his past failures, or his emotional wounds with a woman. Clearly, weaponized vulnerability primarily occurs when, during a heated argument or a future disagreement, you suddenly take those exact private confessions he had made and fling them back so hard at him to win a point or inflict needless pain on him, such as no wonder your last girlfriend left you, or this is why you fail at almost everything all the time. Honestly, this is the ultimate relational betrayal that hurts a man to the core. It validates his deepest dark fear that showing his soft side is a very dangerous mistake that will eventually be used against him to destroy him one day. When his vulnerability is constantly weaponized against him, his emotional armor gradually goes back up permanently, often ruining his capacity to trust anyone else for a very long time to come. Undoubtedly, a man can easily handle an aggressive no response, but he is rather emotionally drained by a passive maybe response, not letting him know exactly how certain you are about your interest in his request to you. This inflicts on him that slow torture of being kept on the back burner, treated as an option, while you decide maybe if you can find someone better than him. Usually, this unfair treatment a man suffers in the hands of a woman manifests as inconsistent texting, cancelled plans, sometimes followed by a sudden warmth, and eventually a refusal to define the relationship. Generally, indifference shown by a woman signals to a man that his presence is entirely inconsequential. On this realization, it forces him into a state of hypervigilance and anxiety, chipping away at his self esteem day by day. In a positive light, rejection rather allows a man to keep his dignity intact. A healthy man intentionally operates with an inherent desire to step into the role of a protector and a safe haven for the woman he truly cares about. In fact, when his genuine, well meaning actions, such as offering advice, looking out of your safety, or asking to help solve a particular problem you may be facing, are automatically viewed through a lens of cynicism, suspicion, or accusation by you, the woman, thinking that he is just trying to control you, you make him completely shut down. Honestly, when a man's pure intentions are twisted into something extremely ugly by you, the woman, it creates some deep psychological frustration in him. It plainly tells him that despite his loyalty and careful behavior, you still view him as a potential threat or an adversary rather than your greatest teammate. When a man has extensively experienced these deep psychological cuts, survival in the relationship practically requires an immediate shift in how he manages his energy. With time, he gradually or suddenly stops excuses for poor treatment. He oftentimes looks at her actions entirely and steadily decouples them from his potential or hopes for her. If her behavior is consistently indifferent, mocking, or disrespectful, he accepts with time that this is her true character, not a temporary phase. The ultimate antidote to being led on or kept on the back burner is the power of the exit option. A high value man does not negotiate for basic respect. He usually establishes a clear internal boundary. What actually happens is the moment his vulnerability is weaponized or his effort is mocked, he calmly and completely removes his attention, his presence, and his investment from her life. In fact, emotional wounds from a toxic relationship intensely pulls a man out of his masculine drive. For him to recover very fast, he redirects his focus away from the relationship dynamic and pours it back into his mission, his physical health, his career, and his brotherhood. His redirected mission of rebuilding his external competence slowly but surely restores the internal confidence that was chipped away. Ultimately, what painfully hurts a man more than rejection is the calculated erosion of his honor and self respect while with you in the relationship. Rejection is a minor bump on the road of pursuit. It is clean, very honorable, and external. This is how a man thinks about it. But being led on, mocked, or having his vulnerability weaponized against him strikes very hard at the very foundations of his identity. Honestly, a man can easily survive a woman saying instantly to him she doesn't want him. What he cannot easily survive is a woman making him feel small for wanting her and not being honest with him about her real intentions. This is why true attraction and lasting relationships cannot be built on the back of emotional gains or critical oversight. The honest truth is a high value woman clearly understands that a man's heart is directly connected to his sense of dignity. And so when she meets his investment with clear honesty, guards his vulnerabilities like a sacred trust, and truthfully honors his efforts, she helps the man to eliminate the very deep anxieties that can potentially cause him to shut down. In doing so, she creates a space where he, the man, does not have to fear being destroyed. It actually motivates and allows him to step up with the fullest, uncompromised power of his devotion, protection, and love for the woman. In fact, relationship in itself is a beautiful form of connection when handled with respect and love for both parties involved. As always, I encourage you to take very good care of yourself and your relationships. And always, I tell you this, let love and respect lead the way.